Hello everybody, welcome to Visible Live Season 6, Episode 7. Really excited to have you here on the Awesome Show for whether you're listening live on Facebook, whether you're listening Spotify, SoundCloud, on all of the places, YouTube's, anywhere that this happens to be, where anywhere that you have found me. Really excited to host you and have you here. And my commitment to you is to make this totally awesome, because you can't have awesome without me, meaning you. I feel like such a nerd when I do that. It's so funny. Hey, Jess, it's actually really funny. So I was chatting to my husband about it, and when we're walking, and he's like, oh my God, Nicola, that is really wanky. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know it is, but that's okay, because, they know I'm not saying that I'm awesome, even though I am awesome. They know, being you, know that, I totally take the piss all the time. And it's actually more about you being awesome versus me being awesome. My awesome just helps to elevate your awesomeness, and yeah. Golly gosh. So I am very highly caffeinated. I've been at a coaching session with the fabulous Jeremy and Kim, drinking all of the macadamia lattes that this town has to offer, which is absolutely delicious. If you have not had a macadamia latte, you need to convert. It's almost like my new religion. It is just the yummiest, most best thing on the planet, with no dairy. So it's really cool. Anywho, what I wanted to talk with you about today are some things in terms of being visible. Obviously, Visible Live and, everything that I do these days is about being visible, and always has been actually. But I think the thing that I really wanted to hammer home today is about ways that you can really, reach your audience and communicate with your audience in a way that really makes sense. And I've spoken about this before, whereby you need to know who your audience is. You need to know what their problems are. We talked about that last week. We need to know the way that they are, the way that they're going, so what their goals, dreams, and desires are. We also then need to be able to solve a problem for them. As with anything, the only time a sale gets made, whether it's selling for free, is in getting someone to opt in or getting somebody into an event that might be free of charge or anything, any exchange of attention on your stuff by them is essentially a sale. I know we need to make money to make sales, but we're always selling. We're either selling our free stuff, we're selling our motivation, we're selling our inspiration, we're selling our ideas, our ideology, our thinking, and all of this kind of stuff. And so I guess one of the things that's really important is understanding the way that we're able to communicate with people. And there's a few fundamental things that need to really be understood from a human psychology perspective. And the first piece of that is really about understanding that every single person wants to feel heard, right? They actually want to be heard and they want to feel heard. So the only way that we can do that, because then we start to get into the different modalities and all of that kind of stuff, which is super critical and super important. But unless you know what's going on in their world and how you're able to help them, then no one's going to feel heard, right? So for instance, if you've got, and this is where before I go into that, this is where the demographics of something is not the be all and end all. And actually even the psychographics is not the be all and end all. This is where we get into the soul graphics, right? Or like something that I like to call soulcology, SOUL-cology, where we really get in touch with who these people are at a really deep soul level. And one of the things, so funny how everything all ties in, right? So one of my journal prompts was, where have you been? What did I write? Oh, it's in my phone, which I'm talking on. I'm like, where is that note that I made? The journal prompt was, what do you really desire that you maybe haven't been admitting to, right? So maybe, and we'll tie this in with niche and communication and visibility in a sec. So if we think about it, what is it that you really, really desire? Is it, I read a post today where someone really desires sex in an elevator with Bradley Cooper. Okay, great, that's fine. Some people really desire to be on stage singing, like The Voice type scenario. Some people dream and desire living off grid. Some people really have these goals, dreams, and desires about being a particular kind of person, or being a particular kind of way, or having certain hair, or making a certain amount of money, or whatever the case might be. So there's a lot of these things that a lot of people won't admit to out there publicly, right? Or even in a chat like today. Like, so for instance, if I'm like asking you, like literally asking you, what would you, if there were no holds, barriers, no limits, no limiting beliefs, no limiting circumstances, what is it that you actually dream of and desire to the point where you probably, maybe you think, oh my gosh, like that could never ever like remotely happen for me? For me, like my secret goal dream, not so secret, goal dream wish desire is to absolutely be on stage at Madison Square Gardens, lots of costume changes, totally entertaining the audience, not necessarily singing, because, you know, sometimes people's ears bleed from my singing, although I need to journal on that, and I have the voice of an angel. But you know, it's like whatever it is that I do, it's like I've got this goal dream desire of being able to put on events that are kind of like a show, that entertain, that educate, inspire, and motivate, and really show you that you have no limits, right? So what is it for you? And that's just in my work, kind of my work segment, or my business segment, my career aspiration segment. And then what is it that you have goals, dreams, desires about in terms of your physicality? What are your goals, dreams, desires? And like, I'm talking like not just saying, oh, you know, I wish I could lose 5 kilos, or, you know, I wish I had J-Lo arms. Like really, if you get down and if you are completely honest with yourself, what is it that you really, 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 really want? You know, to the point where you might think, oh, that's like really egotistical, or, you know, this is what I want, but, you know, it's never going to freaking happen, or whatever the case might be. And that might not even necessarily be exactly what you're thinking. But what is it that you secretly have these wishes about? Because let's face it, you know, whether you're listening live, or whether you're listening to the recording of this, or you're listening to the audio, or you found it on YouTube or wherever, like the fact of the matter is that every single one of you has goals, dreams, desires, wishes, that you have thought about, that you've dreamt about, that maybe you've gone, oh yeah, but you know, I don't even see how that could even come to life, or I don't even know what I would even need to do next in order to be able to make that happen. And that's really normal, right? It's like, again, you know, for this Madison Square Gardens dream that I've got, I'm like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to pull that off, but I know I have absolute faith and trust that somehow, some way along the way, I will end up on stage in Madison Square Gardens, complete with costume changes, a stage crew, an amazing freaking audience who is just like you, completely badass, and it becomes this really awesome kind of production that completely transforms and changes your life. So what is that thing for you? Like, I don't know how that's going to happen. What is that thing for you? It might be that you want to, and for some of your, like, and I want you to think about this for yourself first and foremost, because that's going to help you with an insight into your niche and your audience, right? Because every single person that you're communicating with, or that you want to communicate with, has got a really deep, let's say, heartfelt desire, maybe childhood dream or anything like that, where it's like, oh my God, I just really wish that I could be able to do that. Or I really wish that I could have that. Or I really wish that I could find the way to be able to do this. So what then happens is, once you're clear on that for yourself, you can then start to imagine that from your niche's perspective. Now, you might be someone who's like, oh my God, I wish that I could just go over to Africa and build wells for the people over there. Maybe it's about going to Bali and establishing a new orphanage, or, I don't know. Like, your goal is your goal, your dream, your desire is what it is for you. Feel free to share with me what that is for you. But really, it's so much more than, oh, I wish that I could create great content. It's more like my people want to know how they can create great content. But there's more going on behind the scenes, right? There's more, and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So another thing for me is that I want to make a absolute buttload of money because I'm really passionate about the whole supporting people in the domestic violence situations. And there's a whole load of things that I want to do. So like I've got this thing that I want for me, and then there's the payoff of all of that, which is my ability to be able to contribute financially or with product or whatever it might be to be able to help people in those particular situations. So maybe that's more what it is for you, your like secret. It doesn't have to be sex in an elevator with Bradley Cooper. Like, that wasn't me that said that. That was someone else that said that, just so that we're completely clear. But we've really got to be clear on admitting to ourselves what it is ultimately that we want, and not going, oh, that could never happen, or like that's too much, or that's not enough, or, whatever it might be. Just get really clear on what it is for you and own it. Really. And you don't have to declare it to the world. You just own it. And I would have a look at every area of your life. So I would suggest that you're looking at health, relationships, money, business, career, soul, fun, social. Hey, Phil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I always get to 7 of these things, and I'm just like, I forget what the other one always is. Oh, love. Let's go, love. Okay, so if you're looking in all of these, that would be the relationships. Anyway, you guys get the point, right? There's usually 8 segments. I just can't think what the 8th one was. So health, relationships, money, business and career, soul, fun, social, and the relationships is like your romantic relationships, whereas social to me is more like your friends. So anyway, you get the point. And what I'd have a look at is like, really, I want you to go, okay, like this is really what I want for my health. So for me, for my health, like if there's no holds, no barriers, no limits, there's no nothing, I would love to start with, I would love to have a body like Jennifer Lopez, like far out, man. That woman, just freaking amazing. And I also want to be able to have a really, be really strong to be able to play roller derby, super competitively. Relationships, what do you want in your relationships? Like do you want that? I was reading a post again today that somebody else had written that was about, I realized that putting up with this kind of life is kind of like accepting being in a romantic relationship with someone where all you do is you go out to work all day and then you come home and you don't talk and you just sit on the couch and watch TV, and there's no real interaction, no intimacy, no passion, no light, no fire, no polarity, no nothing. And then it's just kind of like, so like, is it that? But that's okay if that's what you want, right? This is just a way of like this person had kind of done this comparison, and I'm like, yeah, wow, like that does sound, for me, that sounds like kind of settling. So, but for some people, that's exactly what you want, which is totally fine. Maybe that's your secret goal, dream, desire. Maybe not so secret that's what you want for you. Who knows? Hey, Christiane. So we want to go through each of these areas and get really clear on what it is for you, because then what I want you to do is then go, okay, so for your niche of people, right? So for your clients, for your hot, cold clients, those prospects that you really want to be able to connect to, that you want to be able to communicate with, that you want to be able to have fun with, of course, to be able to help them on their journey of achieving whatever it is that they want, you've got to understand very clearly what is it that they want. So for your niche, we're going to go through the demographics, being what is it, how old are they? Are they male or female? Do they have children? Get into that. Then what are their psychographics? What is their mindset? What is all of this? And then what I want you to really do is through each of those segments that I've just typed up in the chat there, in each of those segments, what is the niche of your audience? What do they want at a really kind of fundamental level? What do they want in each of those areas? So for health, do they want JLo arms? In relationships, do they want someone who is super dependable and steadfast and certain? Do they want a whole mass of friends, or do they just want one really amazing BFF? Get really clear on all of this, because then what we start to do is we start to have a look at ways that we're able to communicate with our audience, right? So, one of the big things that I'm very much all about is about being visible, right? Owning your rock starness, really for you to be seen as the rock star of your industry, the person who is paving the way for all of the other people, so that you're able to be like the leader, really the leader of the pack, the leader of those people that you want to help. But you're not going to be able to help your audience feel heard and understood unless you spend the time helping to understand what they are saying, right? What are they saying so that you can hear them? The next thing that we want to do is get really clear on and making sure that we're communicating with them in many different ways. So the three main ones that we utilize from a marketing perspective, online specifically, is connecting with them visually, connecting with them in an auditory manner, and also connecting with them and helping them feel something with your stuff. So this is the kinesthetic part. So this might look like you providing downloads. It might look like you provide things that they can actually print off. It might look like you doing different audio series and different videos and stuff like that. But ultimately, there's different modalities that people learn and consume information with. So social media and visibility needs to be able to blend all of those three things. So, and the other thing that sometimes gets forgotten is that when you have got them finally, like in your email marketing funnel, for instance, and you're emailing them, a lot of people will just send them text emails or whatever. Give them the opportunity to print stuff off at different times, or direct them back to a video, because, if they really like to hear things, then, if all you're ever doing is just sending them text-based email, I have to print this off, and that's all you're doing online, then they've got no way of being able to hear you, because they tend to be auditory. So they consume information best by hearing it. So make sure that you're tapping into all of that. And then really the last piece is about making sure that you are communicating in that way that really works for them. So what you're going to do from all of that is it's going to help you, I guess, from an energetic perspective and from an alignment perspective. I've spoken for a number of years about the dog whistle and how your marketing really is like the dog whistle for your niche. Not that your audience is dogs, right? There might be dog owners, but what happens is when you start communicating in this way, the only people who are going to resonate here, listen and learn, and then move from being perhaps a prospect into becoming a client of yours is because they feel like you get them, or that there's some kind of energetic match there, right? So like attracts like. And what tends to happen when you're thinking about your marketing, your content creation, your visibility creation, and all of this kind of thing in this way, what happens is they might be here, for example, and you might be here, and they can energetically, they raise up to become an energetic match for you. And that's where your content creates that match, right? Trust that makes sense. So your job today, your very, very first job today, if you do nothing else right now today, following on from this show, is open up your journal and or a Word document. It's up to you how you do this, and get really honest with yourself. If there were no barriers, if there were no limitations, if there was no shame, if there was no judgment, What is it that you want in all of those areas within your life? I've put that in the comments. And then get really open and honest with yourself and start declaring them. And then I want you to go, okay, so if I'm my niche and this is what I imagine that they want in all of these areas of their life from their, really it's kind of like, I don't want you to play at the surface level, because every fucking person on the planet, that's not true. Many people on the planet will play at the surface level. And what that means is like, oh, my people really want to learn how to put a post up on Facebook. Well, yeah, but why? Or my people really want to learn how to detox. Okay, great, but why? My people really want to learn how to write a book. Ace, but what does that mean? My people really want to learn how to become undepressed. Okay, great, but why? So the thing that I want you to do is not just stop at that surface level, right? So health might be lose 5 kilos. Yeah, but why? What is it about that 5 kilos, and what does that 5 kilos mean for them, and why? And what's the secret thing? Is it going to mean that for them they're going to feel like they are a red hot, sexy ball of freaking hotness who is irresistible, and people of the all of the people just kind of like go, oh man, that person is freaking hot. And wow, where did they even come from? Is it they want to write a book because they want to start a revolution, and then what does that revolution look like, and what does that mean for them, and why is that even freaking important? So in coaching, we call this chunking down. So I want you to go deep, 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 and then go deeper again, and then go deeper again, and then go deeper again. Because when you do this work, as I said, and you start communicating at that level, your marketing looks a whole lot more mature, right? Your content creation becomes a lot more robust. Your message becomes so freaking clear that the people who can't even fathom hearing it yet are just like, peace out, namaste, motherfuckers, like Bruce Willis in that movie. Everything just starts to take on a completely different tone and connectivity. So really get super clear on that. So do that for you first, then do it for them, and then just remember that you've then got to start communicating in those different mediums, like the visual, auditory, the kinesthetic mediums, and go freaking rock it. You're a badass. Your people need you. You are, if you want to be known as the industry rock star, if you want to be known as the authority on whatever that might be that you want to be known as the authority for, then, you've got to freaking own that as well, right? And put ego aside. Because, some people will say, oh, well, you know what, like you want to be the best, but what about all those other people who have been here before you? Or what about all those young whippersnappers that are, coming up and nipping at your heels and, they're progressing so quickly? Some people will be like, can't you just be fucking happy with what you've got? Some people will be like, oh my God, anyone would kill to have your life. Like, why can't you just celebrate and be successful and, revel in it? It's like, well, it's okay to want more. So, yeah, that's my words. My words just ran out. So you'll see in the comments below the categories for you to think about and consider. If you are listening to the audio version of those, it is health, relationships, money, business/career, soul, fun, social, and love. So health is pretty self-explanatory. Relationships, I was looking at that being your romantic relationships. Money is money, obviously. Business and career, that's pretty clear. Soul, this is where I would go into what are their beliefs? What are their global beliefs? Do they believe in God? Do they believe in energy? Do they believe in quantum physics? Do they believe in science? Do they believe in instant manifestation? What is it that they believe in that other world realm, or aliens, or not? Do they just think all of that is a whole bunch of shit and they don't believe in it at all? Which is, maybe that's your people. That's totally fine. Each to their own. Fun. What do they really want for fun? What do you really want for fun? And what does fun look like? And what are your goals, dreams, desires around that? And what are theirs? Social to me, these are around your friends, right? So what are the social goals? Is it about being the queen entertainer, which, my version of entertaining is like what happened on Saturday night, where my friends and I are sitting around in our trackies and and slippers, drinking champagne around the kitchen table, having nibbles for dinner as opposed to, anything fancy. Well, certainly not a 3-course meal, let's put it that way. And then love, well, that's that. So, and then that could be that could be family, actually. So let's change love to family, love to family. So go through those categories, get really clear, be really open and honest with yourself about it. Don't judge it. It is what it is. This is between you and God, and you and your higher self, or you and the universe, you and source. This isn't for anyone else to see what your stuff is, but this is the stuff, once you get clear on it for you, it's going to help you to be able to get really clear on it for them. All right? Excellent. All right, everybody, that is Visible Live, the awesome show, because you can't spell awesome without me, meaning you. Season 6, episode number 7 is in the can, which is just completely ridiculous and insane. I can't wait to catch you guys next week for these ones are obviously a bit more of an educational / how-to kind of specific live stream series, whereas the coffee runs are a little bit more kind of laid back and chilled, and whatever needs to be said is just what gets said. So, I mean, it is the same for this, but this is a little bit more structured. So I trust this has been helpful for you. Let me know that you have found it helpful. That would be really lovely for me to hear from you. And if you feel like sharing what comes up, then please share what comes up. All I really want is for you guys to be successful and to go out there and help the people that you're here to help. And this will help you to do that. So get out there, go have some fun, go help some people, be visible, but most importantly, be you, because the world is ready for your brand of awesomeness. All right. See you, everyone.